Deputy Commissioner, what conditions are currently being experienced?
Yeah, good morning. We've just seen in the last sort of hour the heavy rain, or the rain, start to return to the northern New South Wales coast. We've seen showers obviously over the last 24 hours, but what can be seen is the main cell is now starting to cross across the coast. So that will now impact that Northern Rivers area for the next 24 hours or so, and slowly work its way south. We've had around about 120 calls overnight in that area, predominantly related to the strong winds that have been experienced, and obviously, as you've mentioned, there's been quite a bit of coastal erosion along some of those beaches as well.
You mentioned the Northern Rivers. Is that one area in particular that is bearing the brunt of this, or are there other communities that are also impacted by the deluge?
Yeah, so our focus really is in line with the severe weather warning that's been issued, which is more or less the mid-north coast right the way through to the Queensland border. So anywhere in that area, it's been a little bit of a watch and wait this morning just to work out where it was most likely that the system would recross the coast. And as we say, we're seeing that now pretty much from the Queensland border down through that Northern Rivers area. So we're expecting that heavy rainfall to work its way inland and then work its way south throughout the day.
Do you expect any communities will be needed to be evacuated? We saw in New South Wales some communities south of Coffs Harbour had to be evacuated Saturday morning. But in terms of Queensland, do you expect that today or in the coming days?
Yeah, so from a New South Wales perspective, as you say, we had the community of Sawtell on Saturday morning that experienced a bit of a flash flood in their catchment there. That came up and went down fairly quickly, and the small group of residents that needed to evacuate were back home reasonably quickly. Our current indications based on forecast rainfall is that minor flooding is the most likely scenario at this point in time, and as that suggests, will be a small impact on community. We're not expecting mass inundations. We're expecting it to be quite isolated pockets, but we're preparing for that nonetheless. And look, there is always a risk with any of these kind of scenarios of getting some really intense thunderstorms that may form in the midst of the greater low pressure system, and that could bring some short, sharp, intense bursts of rain like we saw at Sawtell or like we saw close to the Queensland border on Saturday night.
And just finally, what is your message to people in these communities?
Look, the message, as it has been for a few days now, is you need to be aware of your surroundings and aware of what is happening. Don't drive through floodwaters. Prepare yourself and prepare your properties for what might come in line with your own plans. And as I say, listen to the messages. We have a whole range of crews and other assets in the area to support the community. And if people do need help, 132 500 for SES or 000 for life-threatening emergencies.
Some good advice. Daniel Austin, appreciate your time.